In this session of video class, I'm going to explain source code, machine code, machine code, object code, and assembly code. Source code, machine code, object code, and assembly code. In the last class and the last video, I have explained the last session of video, or in the last class I have explained the different types of language translators, that is assembler, interpreter, and compiler, and other two important programs which involves in the process of execution. And in this session I am going to explain in this video, after completion or after watching and listening of this video session, you would be able to understand the important things or the topics. Those are the different types of language translators that I will explain once again, and the definitions of source code, assembly code, object code, and machine code. And the next one, the importance of C language, the importance of C language, and a structure of a C program, and a structure of a C program. So here, sir, before entering into this session, I would like to give a brief on the different types of language translator, on the different types of language translators. Assembler, the instructions which are written in an assembly language, the instructions which are written in an assembly language are called as assembly language instructions or assembly code. Assembly language instructions or assembly code. In order to convert assembly language instructions, in order to convert assembly language instructions to a machine code, it requires assembly language translator known as assembler, known as assembler. And interpreter is one of the language translator program. Interpreter is one of the language translator program. Interpreter is one of the language translator program. It converts high level programming language into machine code. Here observe the term machine code, object code, source code. The program written in the high level language is called as source code. The program written in the high level language is called as source code. The program written in the assembly language is called as assembly code. The program written in the assembly language is called as assembly code. So after converting the source code, the source code is the code which is written in the high level programming language. If you take a high level programming language like C, the program written in a C programming language, then that program is called as a C program. That code is called as a C language source code. That is called as C language source code. If the program written in assembly language, the program written in a assembly language, then it is called as assembly code. Then it is called as assembly code. Here the last class we heard two different types of softwares. They are linker and loader. Linker and loader. Linker is a special software. Linker is a special software. It creates or establishes or merges the files which are available in that particular library to a source at the time of compilation. At the time of compilation. That is, the object code is linked with libraries by a linker. And the loader, the responsibility of a loader is it is the work of a loader. It is the work of a loader it loads the machine code into the computer memory. It loads the machine code into the computer memory for execution by a loader. So in all these we heard the words source code, assembly code, object code, and machine code. We heard the words source code, assembly code, object code, and machine code. Here the source code is the code written by the programmer by choosing any high level programming language in any high level programming language. Building a complete program involves writing source code for the program in either assembly or a high level language. Here the source means in which language a programmer is writing the code. If you take a programmer is using a C or C++ language for writing or developing the applications, then it is called as a C language source code. Then it is called as a C language source code or C++ or VB, any programming language. Then it is called as a source of that particular language. It is called as a source of that particular language. It is called as a source of that particular language. The source code is, if you are writing a code in assembly language, then it is called as a assembly language code. Then it is called as a assembly language code. The source code or the assembly code, the source code or the assembly code, the source code or the assembly code converted or translated into a object code or machine code for execution by the language translator. By the language translator. It is the responsibility. It is the responsibility of a language translator to convert a source code into machine code, a source code into machine code, right? So means here we are understanding a point which is called source code and machine code. Here we are understanding a point which is called source code as well as machine code. And the assembly code is the code or the program written in the assembly language is the assembly code. Is the assembly code. Source code is the code written by a programmer, the code written by a programmer in a programming language, in a programming language. And the machine code is the code when a program or when a source code is converted by the language translator. A source code is converted by a language translator to understand the machine for execution. Then the code, the machine which is understanding of that particular program for execution is machine code, is machine code. Machine code is binary. Binary means only two numbers Machine code is also known as binary code. It is also known as binary code. It contains only two numbers, two digits, that is ones and zeros. Machine code is binary, ones and zeros code that can be executed directly by the CPU. That can be executed directly by the CPU. That can be executed directly by the CPU. If you open a machine code file in a text editor, if you open a machine code file in a text editor, you would see the garbage or unprintable characters. No, not. So it is maybe any character which we cannot identify. It may be any character which we cannot identify. Generally, we doesn't or we no need to open that particular machine code because it is in the form of ones and zeros. Because it is in the form of ones and zeros. And object code is a portion. It is a portion of machine code. The object code is a portion of machine code, and it is not linked to a complete program. It is not linked to a complete program. It is not linked to a complete program. It is a portion of machine code not yet linked into a complete program. It is the machine code for one particular library or module that will make up the completed product. That will make up the completed product. It may also contain placeholders or offsets not found in the machine code of a completed program. It may also contain placeholders or offsets not found in the machine code. It may also contain placeholders or offsets not found in the machine code of a completed program. The linker will use these placeholders and offsets to connect everything together. The linker will use these placeholders. The linker will use these placeholders and offsets to connect everything together. Assembly code. Assembly code is plain text and somewhat human readable source code that mostly has a direct 1:1 analog with machine instructions. This is accomplished using mnemonics. This is accomplished using mnemonics for the actual instructions, registers, or other resources. This is accomplished using mnemonics for the actual instructions, registers, or other resources. Examples of such mnemonics are JMP and MULT for the CPU's jump and multiplication instructions. It is a short form of a particular operation of a particular work in the form of mnemonics. The form of mnemonics. Unlike machine code, the CPU does not understand assembly code. Unlike machine code, the CPU does not understand assembly. Unlike machine code, the CPU does not understand assembly. We convert assembly code to machine code with the use of an assembler or a compiler. No, it is the use with the use of an assembler only. Use of an assembler only. Here the points is source code, machine code, object code, and assembly code. Source code, assembly code, object code, and machine code. Machine code, it is in the form of zeros and ones. Machine code, it is in the form of zeros and ones. And the object code is a part or portion of machine code and not yet linked with the libraries. Not yet linked with the libraries. The source code is the code which we have written a program. The source code is the code which we have written a program. The source code is the code which we have written a program in a particular programming language. In a particular programming language. That is the source. C language source code or C++ or Java. Which language you are using, that is that particular language source code. We simply can we call it as a source code of that the programmer written instructions. In a simple words, it is a source means the programmer written instruction in a particular language is called source. Whenever the source is converted into machine or binary form for execution by the language translator, then the object code and machine code exists. Object code and machine code exist. The object code and the machine code are the codes which are part of execution and which are created by the language translators and linkers or loaders, and it is the process of execution. It is the process of execution. And the next topic, I think you are very clear about this language translators, that is linker, assembler, interpreter, compiler, and a linker comma loader and a linker comma loader, and then and then and then various files which are created, the files which are created by the language translators, by the language translators called interpreter or compiler or assembler. In the process of, or it is the process of executing a program and getting the output. Source code is the code written by the programmer. It is in the form of text. Assembly code is the code which can be directly understood by the computer hardware. Object code, it is the converted form of source code by the compiler which can be understood by the CPU. The object code is the converted form of source code. It can be directly understood by the machine or the CPU. The next topic, that is very important topic, and we are entering into the particular our subject, that is programming in C. Now we are entering into our subject, that is programming in C. As a part of the subject, first of all we have to know and we have to understand the importance of C language, the importance of C programming language or C language. In the previous class we have seen and understood there are different types of programming languages or computer languages. Those are the languages are classified into high level programming languages and low level programming languages. Level programming languages and low level programming languages. The high level programming languages, similar like English, everybody can understand and everybody can write the instructions. C is one of the high level programming language. It is a general purpose, procedural oriented programming language, and it is a combination of low level and high level programming language features. It has the combination features of high level and low level programming language. And we can say C is a one of the high level programming language because it is similar to like our English language. While, for example, if, while, like that, for, like that statements we'll see in the coming classes. And it is a user friendly programming language. C is a user friendly programming language. It is a general purpose programming language It's a procedural oriented programming language, and it is a user friendly programming language. It is easy to understand. It is easy to understand and write the program. In a C language, in a C language, it is very easy to understand and write the programs, and moreover it is a case sensitive programming language. Moreover, it is a case sensitive programming language. Means the uppercase letters and the lowercase letters are different. They both are not equal in terms of compilation by the compiler in the process of execution in converting the source code into machine code, in converting the source code into machine code. And C is a general purpose. C is a not specific to a particular purpose. The C language was not developed for a particular persons or particular people, particular area, not for a particular people, particular area to develop the application. So it is a general purpose programming language, and it is a common programming language. It is a general purpose programming language, and it is a common programming language. So everybody can understand it, everybody can write the instructions in a C programming language. And it is the mother of all languages what we are seeing right now in the market. C is a mother of all programming languages. C is a mother of all programming languages. Now what we are seeing in the market. Now what we are seeing in the market. Now what we are seeing in the market. The C language is called as mother of all languages. Mother of all languages. It means that if you learn C language, then you can learn easily the other high level programming languages. The other high level programming languages. And it is a case sensitive programming language, and it is a case sensitive programming language. And it is the combination of, it is having the features that is low level and middle level, low level and middle level. It supports the functions which are available in the low level language also. It supports the functions, the code which are available in the low level programming, low level languages also. And it is the mother of all languages, and it is a procedural oriented programming language. It is a procedural oriented programming language, general purpose programming language, and mother of all languages. And it was named as the C language, and the C language was invented by Dennis Ritchie. The C language was invented by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972 at AT&T Bell Laboratories, USA. At AT&T Bell Laboratories, USA. AT&T means Advanced Telephones and Telegraphs. AT&T stands AT&T stands Advanced Telephones and Telegraphs. Bell Laboratory, USA. Bell Laboratory, USA. And Dennis Ritchie was the person who invented Dennis Ritchie is a person who invented this C language in the year 1972, and it is the combination of BCPL and B language. The C language instructions or the C language was developed by combining the features of is developed by combining the features of BCPL. BCPL BCPL stands Basic Combined Programming Language. BCPL stands Basic Combined Programming Language, which was popularly called B language. Which was popularly called B language. Importance of C language. Importance of C language. C is called as a robust language which has so many built-in functions and operations. Which has so many built-in functions and operations, which can be used to write any complex program. Which can be used to write any complex programs. Generally we used to call C, C as a middle level language. C as a middle level language because the C compiler combines the capabilities of an assembly language because the C compiler combines the capabilities of an assembly language with the features of a high level language. Generally, we used to call C as a middle level language because the compiler combines the capabilities of an assembly language with the features of a high level language. Therefore, it is best for writing both system software. It is best for writing both system software and business packages. It is best for writing both system software and business packages. C programs are efficient and fast. C programs are efficient and fast. C is highly portable. C is highly portable. That is, C programs written on one computer. That is, the programs or the C programs written on one computer can be run on another computer with little or without any modification. With little or without any modification. C language is best. C language is best for structured programming where the user can think of a problem in terms of function, modules, or blocks. It has the ability to extend itself. It has the ability to extend itself. C programs are efficient and fast. C is highly portable, that is, C programs written on one computer can be run on another with little or no modification. With little or no modification. C language is best for structured programming language. C language is best for structured programming language, and it is the mother of all languages, and it is the mother of all languages, and it has the features, the combined features of low level as well as high level programming language, and it is a procedural oriented programming language. So it is a procedural oriented programming language, and the C language was developed by the person named Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972 at AT&T Bell Laboratories, USA. At AT&T Bell Laboratories, USA. And is also the Dennis Ritchie is also called as the father of the C language. And the C language is the combination of BCPL and B. C language is the combination of BCPL and B. BCPL is Basic Combined Programming Language. BCPL stands Basic Combined Programming Language, and which is also called as B language. BCPL and CPL is also there in between the BCPL, B and C. CPL is a combined programming language. BCPL is a basic combined programming language. And it is a case sensitive programming language. And it is a case sensitive programming language. And it is a general purpose programming language. General purpose, special purpose, and all sections of the people can learn this language. Very easy to understand, very easy to write, very easy to understand, and easy to write. In this class I have clearly explained to you what is a machine code and what is a source code and what is a object code and what is an assembly code. Machine code, source code, assembly code, and object code. And after that, the importance of C language. The importance of C language. That is our subject. We are entering into the subject. This is about this class. Okay, thank you.